Okay, this is the June 2013 Paper 3 version 1. Always make sure you read the bit that's in italics, don't just jump straight to the numbers, because it says that all currency values must be displayed in dollars with 2 decimal places, so you're likely to lose quite a few marks if you miss that out. So it tells you which CSV file to open. When you open it up, it looks like this. Very first thing you need to do is do File, Save As, and make sure that you save it as an Excel workbook. So very top one in the drop down list. Press save, and that will stop you losing any formulas if you have to close and reopen the spreadsheet. Next thing to do, select the whole sheet, double click between 2 column headings so everything fits, and we're not going to be putting things in the wrong cells. We may need to make some of them bigger in a moment, but at least we know we're writing in the right cell. So insert a new row above row 1, and then in A1 enter the text Bavaro Office. Right click on the number, insert in A1, enter that text. Merge cells A1 to H1 so that they become a single cell. Highlight, right mouse click, and doesn't seem to be there, so at the top click on merge in center. Format the text so that it is white 18-point sans serif font, right aligned with a black background. So the black background, size 18, white font, and it's already a sans serif because it hasn't got any flicks on it, it just needs to be right aligned. So we've done that one. Step 32, on the left in the header add your name, centre number and candidate number. So you go to insert, header and footer, and in the left it asked for your name, so you'd write your name there, and on the right in the header add the text last revision on, followed by an automated date. I mean, they won't know if you've put an automatic date in. It is easy to do, it's just at the top there, and that's that bit done. So properties 53, 56 are on a website. We haven't done the website, so they're just in a text file. Enter them onto the spreadsheet. So question 33, we just need to add these in. So it's 0, 16, 20 and 4. To get back to the normal view, just go to view and then normal. You may have to click into a cell to make normal available to be clicked. So it was 0, 16, 20 and 4. You can add those in. These dotted lines just show you where the printouts will be, you can just ignore those. So in cell C3 enter a formula to calculate the income the property company will make when the property is sold. This is $100 plus 2.5% of the price of the property. So $100 plus 2.5% of the price of the property in C3, so that is equals 100 plus, and then in brackets we need to add on 2.5% of the property. So click on the price and then star, and then to find 2.5% it's 0.025. Close the brackets and press enter, and then we can double click the autofill and that would fill that all the way down the column. We'll change them to dollars later on. We're then on cell E3, which is a nested if statement. So this is when it gets a little bit more difficult. So in E3 enter a formula to display the viewing cost if a local tax is used. If the distance to the property is less than 5, it's going to cost $2. Between 5 and 15, $5, 15 or more, it would be $10. The trick with these ones is when you get 3 bullet points is to just deal with the first bullet point and the last bullet point and leave the middle bullet point as the, well, it must be this one because it's not any of the others. So what we're going to say is equals if the distance is less than 5, then it had to be $2. If it isn't, then we're going to check if the distance is greater than or equals, because it said including 15, so greater than or equals to 15. If it is, then it's $10. If it isn't, it must be in between the two, because it's not less than 5, it's not greater than 15, so it must be in between, so therefore we press 5. Notice when you put the final brackets in that the opposing bracket goes bold, so you know how many to put in. Press enter, autofill that down, and maybe just have a little check that it works. So above 15 is 10, between 5 and 15 is 5, and less than is 2, so it seems to be working. Okay, so step 36 says in cell H3 enter a formula to calculate the profit from the sale. So this is going to be calculated by taking from the income, so it's going to be the income minus both the viewing cost multiplied by the number of times viewed and the advertising cost. So there's different ways of doing this. So we'll start with the first bit, so it's going to be income minus viewing cost times number of times viewed. So equals, let's check what it was again, sorry. Taking the income minus, and then we're going to put the next bit in brackets. It was the viewing cost times the number of times viewed, and then we also then want to take away the advertising costs. Press enter, autofill that down, make sure we've not cutting anything off by resizing your columns. Apply appropriate formatting in all cells. This is just a reminder that you need to put dollars for all of your monetary values. To do that, in the Home tab, next to the little pound symbol, you can choose dollars. So anything that is to do with money, we can do that. If you hold Control, you can select more than one at a time. Okay. Replicate the formulas for properties. We've done that as we've gone along. So in cell H41, enter a formula to calculate the total profit if all the properties were sold. Edit this formula so that it also rounds a value to the nearest whole dollar. So down here, to start with, if we just do equals sum, highlight the cells that we need to add up and press enter. We've obviously added them all up. If you can't do the round bit, leave it as that. You're still going to get a few marks, but to do the round, up here we just need to type in equals round, open brackets. So we're going to round the sum of that to 0 decimal places, so the nearest dollar. Press enter, and it doesn't work because I've put round. Equals round, and then it should work. Display the contents of H41 so it only shows integer values. So in here it needs to be a whole number. So these buttons up here will remove the decimal places so that it looks like this. So step 41, save and print the spreadsheet showing the formula. Make sure it's in landscape, the row and column headings are displays, fits to a page, and everything's visible. So firstly, to get the formulas showing, if you go to formulas and show formulas, always click up here and double click, because the last thing that you want to do is to have done a formula and then not get any marks for it. Then if you go to file and print, you can say that we want it landscape for a start, and we want it scaled so that it fits on one page. Finally, it wanted the row and column headings. To do that, you've got to click on page setup and then sheet and tick the box that says row and column headings. Notice in the background that the row and column headings will appear around the edge of your spreadsheet. Once you've done that, then you can obviously print it out. It then says to print the spreadsheet showing the values, make sure that it fits on a portrait page and that the contents are all visible. So we take it out of formula view, again resize everything, go to print, change it to portrait, still make sure it fits on a page, and you'd print it out like that. It then says to update the spreadsheet so that these properties have been visited 3 times and 5 times. It's just a case of changing it on the spreadsheet, and then it asks you to print it out again. Simple, don't need to show you how to do that. Finally, the income from the sale of the properties was calculated in step 34. Change the formula to $150 plus 2.5% of the property. All you would need to do for that is find the formula that we did that on, which was the income, and just change it from 100 to 150, and then automatically fill that down the column, and again print it out.